Hey there, RC Nitro Head here. I'm gonna try and do a install of the rear sway bar kit on my MST. I'm only gonna do the rear because I also have the 4x4 kit to put in it. I do have a 2500 kV brushless motor and a new ESC coming for it. But I thought I'd check and see how this rear sway bar goes on. I could tell when I got it, these spots right here on either side are going to be where the sway bar mounts, and I'll have to see where it mounts to the axle. But without sway bars, this thing really needs them. Look. Looks like it does come with instructions. Sometimes we read instructions, sometimes we don't. Alright. A nice metal sway bar. Should go right in here. Oh, it's in there somehow. Get all my little parts out. You get the sway bar kit, there are some tiny little grub screws or set screws, whichever way you want to say it. We'll figure out where those go. Get my instructions out here because sometimes it does make life easier. Pretty simple instructions. Simply 2 pictures. So, should be able to figure that one out. If not, we need to find another hobby. Looks like, let's see, one of these. Alright, I'm going to need pliers. Trusty needle nose. Snap. That's easy. Snap one of these in each top. Easy. I see where the grub screws grow. I'm going to go ahead and put those in a little bit so I do not lose them. And it is tiny. Looks like it is a 1.5 millimeter. Really small. I might go back and put some blue Loctite on these later, because if you lose one of these, I have a feeling you will never find it again. Yeah, that's the same with any RC. You got metal screwing into metal on anything. Blue Loctite is your friend. Otherwise, you'll never see it again. My Losi DBXL over there on the shelf lost one of its drive shaft pins. I never found it again, so I just upgraded it to a different system. I might show y'all that one day. So we got our link arms set up. We got our pivot ball. I don't know if I'm centered. Pivot ball on the bottom, and this is going to hold the link on the top here. Let's see. Okay. Looks like what it does is we will be removing the lower links, which is probably going to be easy here if I take these wheels off. And I'm going to guess 7 millimeter. extension. Nope. Got it. Alright. Looks like these run, is that a 12mm hex? Let's check. Yep, 12mm hex. So actually a lot of options out there if you wanted to put different wheels and tires on this truck. Black & Decker roto bit, perfect for RC work. It's got enough power, but it doesn't overpower. Smaller. I'm going to take these lower links loose. So you're going to remove these two shorter screws. Means we get spare parts, which I love spare parts. It looks like it's going to go on the outside, and the grub screw will face the truck. So put your screw through the pivot ball, stick it back through the whole thing. Yeah, and that can rotate up. And I'll go ahead and set the other one in there. Put the grub screw towards the inside. Yep. I'm not going to put the nuts on yet because I think I'm going to have to get the sway bar on there first. I'm not sure how that goes in yet. So, okay. So, looks like we can go ahead and position the sway bar. Put it through where those grub screws are. See, I remember talking about losing those grub screws. It's got holes on either side. I thought I lost one, but you may not be able to see it, but there's the grub screw, and there's a hole on the other side. I thought I lost it, but I guess they wanted to make sure it was easy to get to, or make it more universal, I guess. So, alright, these blocks looks like they face the front of the vehicle. That's going to be a pain. So, to hold the sway bar in, the sway bar is going to go in this groove. And you use a washer and a screw. Will go here and it'll pinch the sway bar. And it looks like also that the sway bar will lock in under here. There. So the two little hooks on the side, the sway bar goes inside of that hook. Now I can mount the block gun here. While everything tries to fall apart on me. I guess if it was that easy, people wouldn't pay RC shops to repair their RC cars. Which was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard of in my life. I never even knew people did that. I thought the entire hobby was drive it, wreck it, rebuild it. Not drive it, wreck it, and drop it off at the shop. Now, I'm wondering if since I tightened that down, if this bar is going to fit under there. Yeah, a little tight. Might have to loosen one. Nope. But I'm going to put the other side, leave the other side in before I screw the other side on. And there are 4 longer screws and 2 shorter screws. The 2 shorter screws will have the washers on to lock the sway bar in place. This is where it helps to have long, skinny fingers. My wife doesn't mind. It might be lined up. Yeah. Alright. I really love this body it came with. I'm gonna get a spare as soon as possible. So I can have my shelf body and I don't call it a basher body because as much time and work as I put into these, I don't bash them, I drive them. If I happen to have an accident, I still don't consider it bashing. I don't jump mine 500 feet in the air after spending all that money and time into getting these things right. I'll leave these a little loose. And we had one disappear. There it is. I've worked on cars most of my life, and when you're dropping a bolt in the engine compartment and it doesn't hit the floor, it always seems like it's game over. And sometimes it just doesn't want to cooperate at all. I'm leaving those 2 a little loose so the sway bar still moves freely. Go ahead and lock these in here. I may try it with just a rear sway bar before I put the front one on, because it might be enough. I might want the extra articulation on the front wheels once I do the 4x4. Apparently that's not a 1.5, it might be standard. Let's try a 1/16. Nope. Let's try it so small they won't even write it on it. Oop, I guess it is. Whatever. That's tight enough. The sway bar shouldn't get too much stress anyway. Like I say, I'll hit these with some blue Loctite later on. I don't have to worry about losing the set screws or grub screws, however you want to call them. Put the nuts back on the inside. I believe these are lock nuts, so you don't have to torque the heck out of them. They do have the little nylon rings, which keeps them from backing off as you're driving it, which is nice. It is stiffer. See how easy that moves? That's a lot. It might be good with just a rear. We'll see. Let me tighten these. You don't want to over tighten them in plastic. You don't want a righty tighty to become a righty loosey. Loosen it just a hair. These screws that go into plastic, it kind of like works like a lock nut. I mean, very rarely will you have screws screwed into plastic parts that come loose or back out on you unless they've just been taken out and put in so many times that it's just got the holes wallowed out really bad. I just want to make sure I'm not restricting the suspension any. I want as much travel as we can get because this truck does not have very much suspension travel. But we have successfully installed our new sway bar and our sway bar links on our MST. I'll stop it here because I'm sure you can figure out how to put the wheels back on. But I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.